Before I start, you guys, I just wanted to apologize for the fan noise that is in the background. Me and my boyfriend have 3 cats, and they really like attention. So to keep them from banging on the doors or meowing, I put 2 fans outside the door so that they don't come running and banging on the door. So I just wanted to apologize for that, but I hope you like this video. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my page, Books and Graphics a la Saber. I'm Saber, in case you haven't figured that out. I wanted to talk today about the pop culture readathon that is going on Twitter and what books that I'm going to be reading for that. There are various boards that they're doing for it. There's a thrill ride board, which is the one that I'm doing, family affair, the adult table, and teen dream, and it is based off of movies. Like, you don't have to have seen the movies, they said, but the prompts were inspired by movies. I'm going to link the Twitter page in the description box below so you guys can see more about them, and I will put my picture of my thrill ride board with the picture of my books up there for you guys so that you can see. And I absolutely love 90s movies. I was born in 92, so I am a 90s baby, and I grew up watching most of these movies. A few of them, I have no idea what they are, or I hadn't seen them, but most of them I've seen and loved them. Or I've seen them, but don't remember them much, but kind of sort of remember liking them. But a lot of the thrill ride movies were my favorite. There's a lot of serial killer movies, horror movies, and supernatural type movies, which is really the kind of stuff that I like. I like those in books, and I like those in TV shows and movies that I watch, as far as like magic and thrillers and horror stuff. So that was definitely the first board that I wanted to pick. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that. The prompts that I went with were a book that has magic in it, a book that has a supernatural creature, a book that is from your second favorite genre, and a book that has a creepy or haunted feel. So those are definitely books that I like. Some of the other prompts were, I'm gonna grab my laptop real quick so that I can read them. Some of the other prompts were a book with a power-hungry character, and that was inspired by Nancy Downs from The Craft, which is one of my favorite movies still to this day. I love her character. I always do the I'm sorry thing just randomly. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you should go watch it so that you can know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain it. Another theme is Jurassic Park. Books set on an island coastal body of water. That's a movie I've never seen. I've seen the same scene from it every single time it's on TV, and it's the scene where the dinosaur with the thing like that kills the heavier set man. And then, what's your favorite scary movie? From Scream, when Drew Barrymore, what's your favorite scary movie? And read a book with one of your favorite authors. And then the movie The Faculty, I don't know what that is. Read a dark academia book. Calling the Corners. Book with one of the 4 elements, earth, fire, water, or air. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chosen One trope. So I've never seen the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but my mom did watch the show with Sarah Michelle Gellar, so I've seen that one, but I didn't choose this trope, or choose that prompt, I mean. And then Everybody's Suspect, I think you guys can guess what that is. That's from Scream. I love that series, no matter how corny it is. I actually love the corny factor in those. Read a mystery or thriller. I would have chosen this one, but you have to get it. You have to get your bingo board in rows of 4. I'm reading this in rows, so I read the top row this way, and then I'm reading the bottom row this way, so I'm snaking. I'm reading it in a snake formation. The row that I chose to do is the 3rd row, and I'm doing it across. Everybody's a Suspect. You read a mystery or thriller. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I absolutely love that movie, and I just discovered, fun fact, that it's based off of a book. I work at a library, and I was shelving books in the teen section, and I saw that that is a book, and I went to go put it on hold, and it was like taken the next time I wanted to read it, so I need to go back and read it because I love those movies. But, you know, that's not what this is about. So, I Know What You Did Summer. You read a 2019 release, obviously, because it's 2020 and last year was 2019. And then these are the prompts that I'm doing. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus. Read a book that includes magic. Light as a feather, stiff as a board, from The Craft. A book with creepy or haunted feel. Candyman. Love that movie. Cannot wait for the remake. A book with supernatural creatures. Scream 2. You already know how I feel about that. Read a book in your second favorite genre. And so I don't really have certain favorite genres like in order. I love fantasy. I love mystery and thriller / suspense. I kind of lump those all together. I know they're not the same thing, just to say, just because something's a mystery does not mean it's suspenseful, and just because something's a thriller does not really make it a mystery. But they do have elements of the same thing to me, at least the ones I read, so I lump them together. And I love dramas. So I think I just kind of lump, it depends on how I'm feeling. So when I get to the books that I picked, I will explain why I picked what I picked. And then the last row is Practical Magic, a book that involves a curse. Blair Witch Project. I refuse to ever see that one. I saw the second one, terrified me. Anyways, a book with the black or white cover. The Mummy, love it. Book with the undead, zombies, ghosts, vampires, etc. And then Sidney Prescott from Scream, book with a badass main character. So, on to what I picked for myself. So excited. So, to explain, it took me a while to pick which board I wanted to do. Or, not which board I want to do. I for sure wanted to do the Throw Ride board, but it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to do my board. So, you have to get bingo. So, you can do diagonal, vertical, or horizontal, and you have to get 4. Or you can do blackout, but I can't read that many books for just this readathon, or in general in 1 month. So I wanted to do the Candyman prompt regardless, not even necessarily because of what the prompt is, but because I wanted to honor that movie. I love that movie. I watched it a lot as a child. I know that's weird. Probably middle school age. Was when I first saw it, maybe grade school. I honestly don't remember, but I know I saw it as a child. And then in high school and stuff, and I really, really liked it. And I watched it again a few years ago, and I honestly did not really realize what it was about. I just remember it scaring me a little bit, and I remember liking it. And I remember, you don't want to say Candyman in the mirror, or, it's going to get you with the hook. But knowing more about it makes me like it even more. The movie kind of has a slow pace, but it gets you. Like, it's still really creepy. And so I wanted to pick that prompt. And so I set my 4 books, or I set my board around that, my 4 around that. So I picked, for the magical prompt, book with magic, I picked The Graces by Laura Eve. Or Laura Eve, I think is how you say your name. And The Graces, Laura Eve. It takes more than black magic to become a grace. And so I just bought this book from a girl that sells books on a Facebook group that I'm in. And I had no idea what the book was about, but the cover looked really cool. So I looked it up. I was like, ooh, it's about magic. I'm going to buy it. And so I just got it. The day I did my first video, actually, is when I got it. So I'm really excited to read this one. And it is, it just says, everyone loves the Graces. Farron Grace is larger than life, almost mythical. He's the school pan seducing girls without really meaning to. He's biding his time until someone special comes along. And then Farron's twin is Thalia, is a Willow's is a willowy beauty with rippling honey-colored hair. Wherever she goes, Thalia leaves behind a band of followers who want to emulate her. She casts spells over everyone she counters, just like Farron, even if they both deny it. And then there's Summer. She's the youngest of the Graces, and she's the only one who will really admit that she is a witch. And then there is a girl named River, and she's not a Grace, but she will do anything to become one. And I'm just really excited to read this. The cover is super gorgeous. So that is why I picked that one. And I wanted to pick books that I own. So all of the books that I picked for this are books that I own. And then the next one is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. This is the very first Stephen King book that I ever read. In high school, I believe I was 15. I wanted to read a Stephen King book really badly, so I went to my local library, and I went to the Stephen King section, and I knew Stephen King wrote big books. So I went there with the impression of knowing that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to pick a Stephen King book, but I'm going to pick the smallest book that he wrote, and this was the smallest book that they had, and it was definitely, to me, teenage geared. I don't remember a whole lot about the book. I mean, I remember the premise of the book and the plot, but I don't remember if there's anything that was inappropriate for my age group. But a girl goes camping with her mom and her brother, and she decides to go off the trail, they're not going camping, they're hiking. She's walking behind them, and she decides to go off the trail, and she ends up getting lost, and while she's lost in the woods, she sees things, and they're really terrifying, and that is all I'm going to go into. That's pretty much all I remember, her seeing, like, monsters and stuff like that. So that is the book that I picked for that, because it definitely has a creepy feel to it for the stuff that she sees and how it's described, as, you know, Stephen King does. The book that I picked for supernatural creatures. So somebody had asked in the Discord group for this, if ghosts count. So there is a prompt on here to pick something from the undead that I realized when reading the prompts for ghosts, but it didn't fall for me doing the diagonal with Candyman, or else I would have picked that one. But ghosts count as supernatural creatures, so I picked Crimson Peak. If you watched my June TBR video, you already know that I love this movie. And I also got for my birthday the Arch of Crimson Peak, which is the making of the movie in book form, and this is the book adaptation of the movie. So the movie came first, and then the book came. I'm not gonna go crazy over it like I did before, but I've been really wanting to read this, and I said I was gonna read it in July, so I made the choice and excuse to put it on this readathon list so that I could read it for the readathon. So I'm really excited to read this. I highly recommend that you see the movie. I'm really bad at describing movies that I love without giving the plot away, so I'm going to do what I did with The Graces and just read the world. Doesn't say much on the back of it, apparently. Beware, when her heart is stolen by a seductive stranger, a young woman is swept away to a house atop a mountain of blood-red clay, a place filled with secrets that will haunt her forever. Between desires and darkness, between mysteries and madness, lies the truth behind Crimson Peak. Oh, just love it. Okay. And for the last prompt, read a book in your second favorite genre. So to explain, like I said, I love fantasy, mystery, thriller, suspense, and I love dramas. I would put mystery and thrillers always second to fantasy and drama. If I'm really wanting to read a book, I will probably choose a fantasy, drama, or comedy. I love comedy books too, depends on what it is. And mystery, thriller, or suspense will always fall second to that. So I chose Stephen King's Elevation, which, based off of the description, it is definitely a mystery and suspenseful to me. And I guess suspenseful depends on how it's written, but it's definitely a mystery. And It definitely has a creepy feel to it. So it is about this guy that lives in the town of Castle Rock, and his name is Scott Carey. And all of a sudden, he starts losing weight. He's not trying to lose weight at all, but he starts losing weight. When he steps on the scale, his weight is down, but his body looks the same. He can have on a 5-pound suit, and the scale will still say the same thing. He can take off that 5-pound suit, and the scale will still say the same thing. That just sounded really interesting to me. It's very mysterious. I want to see what's going on. What is going on with this man, and why is he losing weight? It seems very possibly sci-fi, which Stephen King can be known for, sci-fi and like mysterious, kind of like I get a Green Mile feel from this. Maybe not as far as how much it will touch me in my heart, but as far as the mystery and it not being scary, but being mysterious and having a nice story without scaring the hell out of me. So those are the books that I picked. Again, I did, for the magical one, I did The Graces by Laura Eve. For the supernatural creatures, I did Crimson Peak, and I didn't say who the author is. The book is written by Nancy Holder, but the movie was by Guillermo del Toro and Matthew Robbins. I always just say Guillermo del Toro, but apparently it was also done by Matthew Robbins. And for a book that has a creepier haunted feel, I chose The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. And then I also did another Stephen King book for my second favorite genre, which I chose mystery/thriller/suspense, and I chose Elevation by Stephen King. I'm really excited to participate in this pop culture readathon. Again, I will link everything in the description box below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you will check out the Twitter page that they have and participate in this readathon. If I decide to do any of the other boards, I will post another video. The one I'm leaning towards doing is the Family Affair one, and I'm hoping that I can use one of these books for that. There is a prompt on there that I believe has a book that has to be it's either less than 150 pages or less than 200 pages, and I could use Elevation for that because I believe it's like 142 pages. But I don't want to just keep rambling on. So I hope you guys have a nice morning, evening, day, late night, whatever it is for you when you're watching this video, and happy reading. Bye guys. Hey guys, so I've been sitting here editing this video that you're watching now, and I realized as I was watching it that I can also do the second column for this readathon. I think I can read that many books in a month, since I'm also doing the F-a-thon that Noria Reads is doing. Fingers crossed that I can read all of these books. So I plan on putting in the description box down below what books I am going to pick for those prompts that I mentioned, which were the Jurassic Park prompt, which is to read a book that is set on an island, body of water, or a coast. Not Sidney Prescott, but Everybody's Suspect. Read a book that is a mystery or a thriller, and then the one that I'm already doing, since it is in the third row, which is Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board. Read a book with a creepy or haunted feel, and you already know what I'm reading for that one, which is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. And then the last one is The Mummy. Read a book with the undead, vampires, zombies, ghost, etc. So I know that I'm doing Crimson Peak for the supernatural creatures, and I'm still going to do that one for the supernatural creatures. I'm not switching it for the Mummy prompt. I think I'm going to try and find a vampire book. I've never read an Alice Rice book. I hope I'm remembering her name correctly. I've never read one of her books, so I might read one of her books or just look up a different vampire book. But just wanted to add that real quick. So sorry about that. Sorry that it's not in the video. I didn't want to make this video terribly long, and it's already long. So I will just put those in the description box, and I hope you decide to do this readathon with all of us. Thanks.